Hello there. So listeners, welcome to A Twin Flame Journey. I'm Aura, and I'm also a little wet right now. So it's a little damp, but the rain finally stopped. So I wanted to get actually kind of like a quick message for you guys. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, so that you get the latest content delivered right to you. Okay. So we have the Love Oracle message, Love Oracle deck. So Love and Light. Let's see what comes out here. So it's like it's not raining, but it's a little windy. So like, and I'm underneath this humongous tree, and the tree is kind of damp. So as the wind blows, so does the water. The water just comes crashing down. So, but let's see what comes out here. Ooh. We have a card just flew out. We have, with God, all things are possible. If you had faith, even as small as a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it would move. And that is Matthew 17:20. So hopefully you can see that. With God, all things are possible. Interesting message, especially because today is the last day of Mercury retrograde, interestingly enough. A situation at hand. Maybe you are worried about a situation. Maybe there is a situation that hasn't been solved yet, or a solution hasn't been brought to your attention and you have no idea how to move forward from here. And maybe it hasn't been solved right at this very moment. Maybe that's what you're looking for. You want it to be solved right now. And there's also moments where you're wondering the how, you're wondering the why, or you're wondering, how is it all going to happen? And that is when you lead with your faith. And it sounds so corny right now. It really does. It sounds so corny, but it's like you don't need to know the how. You just need to allow God to take the lead, to let Jesus take the lead. Because sometimes you don't really need to know the how. And there are a couple scriptures coming to mind right now. One is Corinthians, where Paul mentions that having faith, just like in this card where it talks about a mountain, you could say to this mountain, as it says in here, but how Paul mentions that having faith to move the mountain is meaningless without love. And then the other one is, I believe, in Luke, where Jesus talks about the mustard seed and how having just a little bit of faith He doesn't mention the mountain, but he does mention a tree, which is so interesting. Well, how he doesn't mention the mountain, but he does mention moving a tree. But even just how having that strength and having that courage, despite what is happening around you, can go so far, can go such a long way when you really think about it. Because it is like a form of detachment, or it is like a form of leading through God, right? But you're also taking action. You're not just not taking any action whatsoever. You are sounded like a pirate. You are taking inspired action through him when there is no clarity, when there is no way forward. And maybe that's all you need. That little spark that shows you the way, because that is the inspired action. That is the time when you should be taking action. And sometimes we need a little bit of courage. And we need a little bit of faith. But tapping into that energy where you allow the divine and also God to flow through you, to take that inspired action. Because maybe you don't need to. Maybe you don't need to take action right now. But it is that allowing. It is the allowing aspect of it, so that you can step into that full surrender mode. Because surrender is letting God do the rest for you. Letting God take the lead. You may not need to do anything, but understand that all you have to do is have your faith in the divine, your faith in that all things are possible. Maybe you just have to believe that they will. Believe that anything can change at any single moment. And to just trust. Learn to trust. This card is so powerful. It is so powerful. With God, all things are possible. I almost want to say, like, whoever is listening to this right now, maybe someone has said that to you. A stranger has said that to you. With God, all things are possible. So, this is where I leave you. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.